Electrification's happening. There's 280 million vehicles in the United States, and that's just passenger light-duty vehicles. 280 million vehicles. That's more than double the number of households in the United States. So back when Thomas Edison and team were building out the electric grid all over the country, there weren't that many households, but even when they kept extending it, it was only 120 million that we topped out at. Now, keep in mind, there's over double that number of cars that somehow have to get onto the electric grid. 32% of emissions in the United States come from those cars, and then another 29% come from the electric grid. I don't know what you think a bang for your buck is, but that's where I decided to put my career, because I said, you know what? 60% of emissions are about to become part of the same integrated framework, and no one seems to be thinking about that. And it's true. Like, really, utilities and automakers have not really talked to one another. A line I love to use is the last time they got together was when Henry Ford and Thomas Edison went camping together in 1916. So it's been over a century, and here we are. And the challenge is that these two systems have not really thought about what happens when each and every one of you buys a Tesla and a Ford and a GM car and all decides to plug in your cars. Because, by the way, your charging's at home 80% of the time. And so each and every one of you charging at home is actually drawing the same amount as the Beverly Hills mansion out there, or 3 normal American households. And so there is a challenge, which is how the hell is the grid going to support it? You talked about a text message. We moved last year. It wasn't just the text messages. I promise we helped. We were able to move megawatts, which in common parlance is hundreds and thousands of homes worth of charging away from those critical moments where the grid could have actually failed. But actually the message isn't that the grid is going to fail with electrification. The message is that we can build a better grid, and we can make that possible through renewables, through other zero emissions energy sources like nuclear, and we can use EVs to actually not just balance those renewables, because they're giant batteries on wheels. We can also leverage those same electric vehicles, the computers and the data systems they have, to make a much smarter grid and infrastructure, something that, by the way, costs us on the order of about $100 billion a year to just maintain. And so that makes literally no sense. Why would we not make it better at the same time as going to zero emissions?